I'm Grace.
So let's get started.
I'm a recipe blogger, family-taught home chef,
Cheers.
Cheers.
iPhone-only photographer, and proud New Englander.
Making homemade naan bread is usually pretty time-consuming, but this recipe takes only 25 minutes to prep the dough. Cook them in a pan and brush them with garlicky olive oil. How could you resist? So the reason why this dough only takes 25 minutes to make is because we're not adding any yeast to the dough. We're actually gonna be using baking powder. So here's all you have to do. You're gonna be starting off with some all-purpose flour. You're gonna pop it in a mixer. Try not to make a mess. Poof. And then you're gonna add your baking powder, and this is going to be your leavening. This is what's going to make your dough rise. And then you're gonna add some salt. And then all you need to do is you're just going to use your whisk attachment, whisk all the ingredients together until they're nice and combined. And it gets even better, guys. I'm gonna take this whisk attachment off, give it a little tap, put my dough hook on, because we're working with dough now. And then, it's on. It's on. And then our secret ingredient, Greek yogurt. Yes, I said it. This is also zero fat Greek yogurt. You can't get healthier than that. And this is going to be the key to making soft, tender naan. And it's also just gonna give it a tiny bit of tanginess, not enough to say, oh, there's Greek yogurt in this, but it's gonna add some nice flavor. Eric told me to say, watch our dough transform.
Okay.
Watch our dough transform. So we're actually going to watch our dough transform. It's gonna start off with just a few ingredients. We're gonna turn this mixer on about medium speed, and we're gonna let it go until the dough is formed, basically until you see a dough ball, and then you're gonna let it go 1 minute after that. So let's go. So nothing can beat a little hand kneading. So yes, you can keep your dough hook going for another 3 minutes, but I like to add 3 minutes of just hand kneading your dough. It seems to make a difference, at least in my eyes. So I have a working surface here that has a little bit of flour on it, and I'm just gonna go ahead and work my dough for 3 minutes. Kneading is pretty simple. All you need to do is just start with your dough ball, flip it on itself, turn it, flip it on itself, turn it, flip it on itself, and just keep doing this process for only a few minutes. I finished kneading, so I'm gonna set my dough aside for 10 minutes, and while my dough is resting, I'm gonna work on my garlic oil. So now for the best part, you just can't go wrong with a little bit of garlic oil. So I have some olive oil, and I'm just gonna pour it right into a bowl. And then I have lots of garlic. I have 4 very large garlic cloves, and I'm going to mince my garlic so much it's gonna be almost like a paste, and that way it's really gonna enrich the olive oil, and when you spread it on the naan, it's gonna be heaven. Boop, put that right into my oil. And then I just have a small handful of fresh Italian parsley that I'm just going to run my knife through and lightly chop. So I chopped up that parsley real good. It'll mix together. So all that garlic infuses into your oil, and you basically just want to drink it now. But you can't, because now it's time to make naan. So set it aside and go grab your dough ball. Our dough is rested. It's gonna look pretty much the same. It looks like pizza dough. But now it's time to form our big dough ball into 6 1/3 cup smaller dough balls. So I'm just gonna grab my 1/3 cup, put a 1/3 cup of dough right in there, pinch it out, and then we're just gonna roll this out into an oblong kind of oval shape that's pretty thin, but not paper thin. And you might need a little bench flour for this too. The grand reveal. This is what you want. It's pretty thin. You can kind of see your hand through the dough, but it's not so thin that it's paper thin. And it's a nice oblong shape. I'm gonna finish rolling out all my 6 naan, and then I'm gonna turn these naan dough balls into real naan. Let's go. It's time to naan. I have a big skillet. It's a non-stick skillet. I preheated it over medium-high heat. You want to preheat your pan or else your naans are not gonna turn out well. I'm gonna add just a tiny splash of olive oil. We're talking about like maybe a 1/2 teaspoon, maybe even less, just a little drizz. And then you're going to add your first naan to your hot skillet, just like that. And you're gonna let this go. It's about 2 to 3 minutes on side 1 until it's nice and golden brown. Flip it 2 to 3 more minutes, and then you can rotate it again if you feel like it's not quite done. So you can see we have some small bubbles on top. The first one of the batch always has smaller bubbles. You'll see that the next ones in the batch have much larger bubbles. We're gonna give it a flip because we have nice golden brown on this side. And we're gonna let this go for about 2 to 3 more minutes. Checking the other side. It looks good. Again, keep in mind the first one always looks a little bit more flat and not as exciting, kind of like the first pancake of a batch. Time to do the rest. Soft, chewy, slightly tangy from the Greek yogurt, and most importantly, very garlicky. Check this out on tastefullygrace.com. You won't regret it. Garlicky.